Happy Saturday, everybody. I hope you're well. I have so many topics I want to talk about. There's so many things I really would love to discuss with you. I want to ask you guys questions. I want to see what your opinion is. I want, if you have, genuinely good ideas for certain things, I'd love to know. So yesterday I ended up I didn't end up, I had an appointment for my shoulder for I was hoping an MRI. So I went to see the consultant, and he said that, from the last x-ray, which is approximately a month ago, he had seen four little bits of, he thinks, are metal in my breast, which is very near to the shoulder. So he said, I'd love to do an MRI, but I don't think I can, because if they're metal, I could damage the breast, maybe you're not fully healed inside, and I just would not be comfortable doing an MRI because it's a magnet and it'll pull on the metal, etc. So he explained that. But he did send me them for a second. He just said, look, go for another x-ray. Maybe they're gone. Because I said, maybe they're stitches. He said, you wouldn't see stitches and blah, blah, blah. So I went off and I had another x-ray, and so he had asked me before that, he said, can you move your arm, do this, do the other, and oh, thank God, he was saying my muscles are fine, my, ligaments, tendons, all that stuff are fine. He said, there's nothing pulling, it's not that, the shoulder, the thing that everyone gets, that it's pulling on stuff. It's nothing. Now, remember, I had frozen shoulder for over 3 years. Very bad. This was a normal frozen shoulder that you could move that much. This, you couldn't move a millimeter. It was so bad. The pain, the pain was unbearable. Couldn't sleep. It was just horrible, for a very, very long time. And it progresses so slowly, and then it stays, and then goes back very slowly. So anyway, I said to him, I did I rip something? Was there something in me that, I tore or whatever? He said, no, nothing, absolutely nothing. He said, but I'd like to do an MRI. He said, because I said to him, I think it's connected to my breast. I said, because every time I get a pain in my breast, I get a pain in my shoulder. When I get a pain in my shoulder, I get a pain in my breast. And I'd never have one pain without the other, ever. So I said, it's connected. There's something. And I said, and that kind of freaks me out because my brother died of lymphoma, and, is it something with my lymph nodes? Now, I know when I had my breast, my operation, they, the lumpectomy, they did take out 2 lymph nodes and they were clear. So presuming there's nothing wrong with the lymph nodes or whatever. So he just said to me, look, contact your hospital. I did contact my hospital, and I spoke to a beautiful male breast surgeon, and he was lovely. He was really nice. And he said, right, yeah, I get why you're really, you want to figure this out, and and, you can tell the consultant that, yeah, he can do an MRI. It's absolutely no problem, blah, blah, blah. But he said, I'd just like to talk to the team here because you are under our care, and, in case something to the breast, blah, blah, blah. Well, a nurse rang me, and this is the second time. Well, it's actually several times, but this is the second time in the last couple of weeks I've been on to a cancer nurse. And I think she could be my cancer nurse. I'm not 100% sure because she doesn't state her name when she rings back. I'd say hello, and she'd say, hi, I'm one of the cancer breast nurses in wherever. And my experiences have been awful with them. Now, I'm sure you hear me all the time saying, oh my God, it's amazing over here. The NHS, the doctors, the hospital, the waiting time, everything is just amazing. Now, mind you, on Friday I was waiting. I will eat my words, because on Friday I keep saying, if you have an appointment at 10 o'clock, you see them at 10 o'clock. If it's 10 past 10, they're really apologetic, etc. And I was an hour and a half waiting. Yeah. An hour and a half waiting. Mind you, in fairness, I was 10 minutes late, so I think they just sent everyone in before me. And that's the truth. I think actually I was the last person. That's, Anyway, so that was my fault. It was a lovely hospital. I went in and I went to the area where you can pray. What's it called? The chaplaincy. I went to the chaplaincy, and there's a little chapel, and I went in, and I wrote this lovely little thing to my mum. I might put it up here. And of course, but then the tear, every time I go into a hospital, I get emotional. And then obviously went into the chaplaincy, into the little chapel, got emotional. And I just missed my mum. And then when I went back to where I'm meant to be waiting to see the consultant, I felt really dizzy and unwell. And this lovely nurse, he was so nice. He got me water and everything else. And yeah, I get very emotional because I miss my mum. I really, do you know, it doesn't matter how old you are, you miss your mother. I don't care if you had a good relationship with her, of course, and you have a really codependent relationship with her, which would be my case. Absolutely, you know, any codependent, you know, psychologist would absolutely love me and my mum's relationship on paper because, like, you know, but I absolutely miss her so much. I need her. Anyway, so that was that. So I kind of just, you know, the fact he said that to me. Anyway, I had to go off and wait for a nurse to ring me back. So I left the hospital, drove off to a nearby town to walk Teddy, and who, God love him, was waiting in the car. And the day before, I'll just say this, the day before, God bless him, I went for a complimentary reflexology. I was so happy. I got this reflexology. You can get 5 of them because I've cancer, and it's this charity and they're lovely. It's just so nice. I'm sure there's this all over the world, but you know, it's really, really nice. And she was so lovely. She was lovely. And it's meant to be an hour, and it was 3 solid hours. So poor Teddy was in the car for 3 hours. So anyway, then I bring him to this hospital, which was an hour and 10 minutes drive. And then he's waiting there a couple of hours. So anyway, I went to this nearby town, and then the nurse called. So then I rang back the consultant I'd seen and said, yes, I can have an MRI. But I'll tell you, the nurse from my cancer care nurse, like, I don't know if it's her specifically, because sometimes I've spoken to her, and then the next time on the phone I'd say, I don't know who I was talking to, and they'd say, oh, that's your cancer nurse or whatever. I won't say her name. And they're just not, I don't know, they're not very, I don't feel right after talking to them. And it happened, this is weird. So I was far away, right? I'm a good bit away from where I live in this particular hospital. So the town is a good bit away. It's about an hour's drive, right? Or a little more, an hour and 15 maybe, to this little town. And I was in the cancer charity shop. And I went in and I said to them, I just want to let you know that I had reflexology yesterday and it was amazing. And, you know, this is a great charity and I'm very grateful, blah, blah, blah. And the woman behind the counter was telling me she had cancer and she's out the other side and everything else. Lovely woman. And they heard me, my phone rang and they heard my conversation because I kind of went over to the side. And afterwards, I was like so upset. And the woman behind the counter was like, who was that? Oh my God, she said, it's not like that in my hospital. And she said, are you okay? And I was like, not really. So the nurse was basically saying, what are you doing in another hospital? And what are you doing getting your shoulder checked? We told you you didn't have cancer in the lymph nodes, and you know, why are you going to get an MRI to see? And I said, I'm not trying to see have I cancer in my lymph nodes. I said, I've genuinely a shoulder issue. I cannot move my shoulder. Now, my shoulder issue was way before my cancer diagnosis. Maybe, you know, I had cancer at that stage. I don't know. But this is going on over a year. And I've been asking the doctor, my GP, can I be seen? And between my anxiety at the moment, you know, at the time, with my mom and all of what was going on over here. I mean, it was primarily leaving my mom and my cat's death and everything. They were trying to focus on that. It's not their fault. They were like, let's focus on your mental health. Then it was like, let's focus on, you know, whatever, the lump or something. It probably wasn't even that. It was one thing after another, genuinely. My thyroid, it was like hormones, it was just so much stuff. And so luckily then I'm getting my shoulder looked at by an orthopedic surgeon. And he's looking at it and he's saying, do you know what? It's not your bone. It's not your, tendon. It's not your muscles, not any of that stuff. He said, all of that's fine. I can see. He said, if there was cancer in the bone, he said, there's nothing visible there, but he said if it was visible, it would be very progressed. So there could be, but we wouldn't see it now. But if we did see something, it would be really. And I said, oh no, I'm not worried about that. I said, just that pain and everything else. So I said, could it be my lymph nodes? I said, because it's all up my neck, all down here, there, all down my arm, and it goes into there. I said, and the pain under my, even there, the pain there and under my arm. I said, could it be my lymph nodes? He said, yes. Then he said, I think it's your lymph nodes, after we talked for a while. So he said that could be lymphedema from your surgery, etc. I had to explain to him very nicely, this has been going on way before my surgery. This hasn't changed. This is agony. Just, So he said, it's not frozen shoulder. I said, yeah, I knew it wasn't frozen shoulder. I just wanted to know, for me, what can I do to make this better? What can I do that won't damage it? I don't want to be ripping tendons and ripping, whatever's in there by stretching. I said, I just want to know. So I said, that's it. You tell me what to do to get better and I will do it. So he said, we'll do an MRI if I get the go-ahead. Call my secretary and we'll organise it. So I've done that anyway. Afterwards, I did that. I rang the secretary. Actually, she was away, so I'll try and ring her Monday. In the meantime, I've been looking this up, right? I've been looking up, can your lymph nodes be damaged or something, when you've frozen shoulder? Answer equals yes. So if you think of what a frozen shoulder is basically it's called adhesive something or other. So it's a glue. So you've got your shoulder and just this glue forms. They really don't know why. It can be, it can be because of cancer. It can be which is not my case, I hope. But because of cancer, it can be because of hormones and blah, blah, blah. Now, I was perimenopausal and it was locked down. And I think I was gone a bit bonkers like most people. I didn't act and I didn't notice it and we were all in this shock, horror. So I think that was going on, I was looking after my mom and just kind of worried about her and worried about stuff and all the rest. And I was working from home. So I was there with her and I was working from home on a computer. So, I was fine in the sense of there was nothing majorly dramatic going on in my life. But I couldn't move my arm. And then eventually we did go back to work and I went back and it was just agony and I wasn't sleeping and I really thought I was going insane. For anyone who's had a frozen shoulder, like a bad frozen shoulder, you genuinely don't sleep. No painkiller would take the pain away. It's just, I actually thought this is my purgatory. So whatever sins I've ever done, whatever karma from my past, this is it. I've and I thought I'd had my karma a million times before, but I thought, right, well, this is it. Nothing could ever bad could happen to me again. Never say never. Anyway, so basically, that can do something. Frozen shoulder injury can inflame and not damage, but inflame and kind of cause your lymph nodes and your lymphatic system not, to, I suppose, compromise it slightly, so it's not working correctly, whatever. So, then I'm like on a roll. I'm like, oh God, do you ever like things? It's like bing, 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 bing. I'm like, yeah. So I've pains here. I'm swollen here under my arm. I have I think there's a lump, but I'm not even going there. So what I've decided to do is I'll ring on Monday and say, look, the MRI is okay. But you know what? If this is it makes sense. It just makes sense. It's like, oh my God. So then I looked up, how to get your lymphatic system working again, and obviously we have lymphatic in all different areas of our body. So for here, it's stretching, dry brushing. Now it says vitamin, I think K or something like that, but I think that's a no-no for people with cancer. I won't go near any of that, like vitamin C and things like that. I'm not going near, this isn't food, anything. I'm going to do exercising, movement, breathing. So you breathe in for, I think it's 4, you hold for 7, you breathe out for 8. So breathing techniques, stretching exercises, obviously like swimming and some cardio and stuff, which I won't be doing immediately, but I can do the stretching. I can do and then they show you how to massage yourself a little bit. So I've also found, I was speaking to my neighbor today, just, oh my God, just like, oh, hi, lovely weather, da, da, da. And I just said, oh, my show, it's my lymph, and he said, there's somebody here, somebody really near us that does that, and she's amazing. So I'm going to try that. Do you know what I mean? And if this is the lymph nodes and they're just inflamed, and I can exercise and do things to get that inflammation down and get it working properly again, oh my gosh, can you imagine? Maybe I'll get more energy. Maybe I'll get it has to help, you know what I mean? But I just wanted to say to people, I'm sorry if this is all over the place, but I just wanted to say to people, well, firstly, don't let some medical people get you down. Like, he was just so nice in that hospital, and I'm not saying that hospital's better than this hospital or whatever. I'm just saying he had an idea, and it wasn't even his. He was like, I'm orthopedic, I'm here for like breaks and trauma. Like, why are you here? And I think my GP just put me down as a breakage or something, because to get me in to be seen quick, which I'm so grateful for. Oh my God. So he knew. I said, look, I can't live with this pain anymore, it's unbearable. And he was just so nice. I just said, please, I need help. Please help me. I just want to know what it is. And he's saying, well, it's not this, it's not this. And I was like, that's great, thank you. But what is it then? Do you think it could be this? And he said, yeah, perhaps. And then I told him a bit more information, and he went, yeah, I think it's your lymph nodes. I was like, oh my God. Now, I did say, could it be cancer? He said, well, yeah. But he just meant it could be cancer, it could be inflamed, it could be damaged, it could be this, it could be, you know what I mean? So I have to trust, I suppose, the process of the breast clinic, that they took out 2 of them and there was no cancer in them, and I'm going on that, and that's fine. But if, even before I get the MRI, I don't know how long I'll be waiting for that. It could be a week, it could be 10 weeks. I really don't know. But I think in the meantime, I'll tell you what, I kind of thought I needed a lymphatic massage. Oh my God, for months and months and months and months. But I wouldn't go for one because I was afraid maybe I'd cancer in the lymph nodes. Now, it worked out then I'd breast cancer, which could lead to the lymph node. Can you imagine? So now I kind of feel, no, I don't. I'm fine. Now I can go for a lymphatic massage. So I'm just urging, because a lot of women have contacted me after their breast surgery. I know you get lymphedema from surgery. I know you get it from surgery, and I know you get it from having your lymph nodes removed, which is not nice. It's not nice. Now, I know that raising your arm, which I can't actually do at the moment, I can if I push it myself, but I can't actually do. And it's like it goes there and then it clicks out of place or something. Anyway, what I want to say is, try and lift your arms. That's what they say. It drains it. And the other thing I would say to you is, and I'm urging you about this, ask your medical professional. Is that right? Anyway, ask either your GP, your breast surgeon, your oncologist, whoever you're in touch with. Ask them, can you go for a lymphatic a lymphatic drainage massage, ask, can you do that? And see what they say. And I think if you're not at any risk with that, and you can go to somebody, and when you're asking for somebody or booking somebody, make sure that they know you've had breast surgery, you've had some lymph node removal, or all your lymph nodes removed, or whatever your case is. Give them details and say, have you experience in that? Is that okay? Now, I went online and I saw a few places. When I say near me, it's kind of, usually it's not, because I'm not near anywhere, but it's Edinburgh anyway. And there were a couple with 5 stars, and one had 5 stars and 200 reviews, and one had 5 stars and had 500 reviews. So I went with the 500, and then I went onto their website and I looked at all the things they do, and they were 5 years in business. The other one was 10 years in business. But like, you know, I'd literally read the reviews. I would read the reviews. I'd really study the website and all of that. And even give them a call and say, you know, this is my situation. Now, the one I looked at did talk about people with breast cancer, etc. So that's basically what I'm here to say, is to those people who have said, or, you know, who are out there and who have pain in their shoulder, and it's after breast surgery, or it's all kind of around the same time. If you're out the other side of your surgery, and if you've got the all clear for the moment, do you know what I mean? If you've got the all clear, if you've been through your radiotherapy, or if you've had radiotherapy or not, but if you're outside of your treatment, just check with I would check with the oncologist and the breast surgeon, to be honest. I would just ask and say, is that okay to do? The reason I say that is because I know that if you massage and you don't know you've got cancer and you massage, apparently, now I could be wrong, I read this years ago and it stuck with me, it can spread the cancer, or it can stimulate the cells or something like that, and you don't want to be messing with stuff like that. So just make sure it's safe for you, and go to your medical people and check. But I do think even just one session, treat yourself, ask somebody to help fund it. You know, just save up, do whatever, and go and get that massage. And when you get the massage, if you can only go to the one, maybe you can treat yourself to 3, or maybe your family will help you, you know, if you've children or whatever. But the thing is, if you even go for 3, but just say you go for 1, you could say to them, listen, I can only do this one, and maybe in a few weeks I could do another. But in the meantime, can you tell me what I can be doing for myself? What exercises I can be doing? Let's get rid of lymphedema. Let's give ourselves that flexibility. Now, I know that we were given exercises to do this up, down. That's apparently for lymph drainage, right? And then I got one going back like this. They were easy to do, and that's great and wonderful. It hasn't got rid of the pain in my shoulder, and I'll be very honest. So there's certain movements I can do that are wonderful, but I can't lift that arm up if, you know, I want to put something into the cupboard. I just can't. I have to do that. I have a little step thing now to get on and like lean right over and use this arm. It's ridiculous. It's a corner cupboard in the kitchen, which is really awkward to get to. In the shower, washing my hair, very sore. Things like that. I don't want to live like this. If there's a solution, and there is a solution, hopefully. So watch this space. I will let you know how I get on. I will do a video of me kind of, you know, I'll let you know how I get on in my session, right? And exactly what's said and done, and, you know, what exercises and all of that. I do know dry brushing. I have a dry brush from years and years ago. I'd say 15 years ago. I've never used it. And I did have it here, and I can't find it, but it's just circular motions, and I don't know, so I'm going to do that, right? I say I'll do that every day. I don't know. I'm going to do my stretching every day. I swear to God. And if I can, I will try and find something that can show you what exercise to do, or I'll even do the exercises on the video, right? But I want whoever has this pain to get rid of it with me. Let's do this together. Let's try and improve our shoulder pain. Let's try and improve our mobility. Let's try and improve, you know, our well-being. I weighed myself this morning, and I haven't lost weight or put on weight in the last little bit, but I've, like, since I've come here, like in the last year and a quarter, I've put on over 2.5 stone. Yeah. Now, I can hide it well, so it's fine, but it's fact. I mean, it's on the weighing scales. That's fact. Now, I'm not obsessed with my weight. I never have been. If I'm slim, I'm slim. If I'm not, I'm not. And that's it. And I wear appropriate clothing and la la la. If I'm in a good state of mind and I'm happy and I'm eating healthy and I'm, you know, if I'm just in a good state and frame of mind, mobility wise, all of that, I don't have to go on diets and all of that. It just happens that I have a, you know, fit, okay body. But unfortunately, things are not perfect at the moment, so it's not the way it is to be. But I just know, for me, what's really important for me is to get rid of my pain, rid of my inflammation. See, that's the big thing. It's inflammation, and inflammation causes cancer. Like, we want to get rid of our inflammation. So that is basically what I wanted to say. I'm very excited that I don't have bone problems. I don't have anything else. If it's the lymph nodes, I'm going to try and fix them. I'm going to try and do what I can do for me. So that's it. Have a lovely evening, everybody, and I will be in touch. I've loads of ideas for videos, but if you have any ideas or exercises or what people told you, or tell me about your painful shoulder, or tell me, you know, how you're dealing with it, or are you dealing with it, or have you tried to ask your doctor, or are you being ignored, or are you being dismissed, or do you feel you can't ask the questions or ask for that extra help? Let me know. Okay,